Now then, people, it's Joe, it's all Leeds TV, and it's time for another episode of Monday Night Football, Everton Debrief. That's what we're going to do now moving forward with your Monday Night Football, is do a bit of a debrief. We're going to have a little look ahead to that massive game on Saturday at 8 p.m. against Frank Lampard's Chelsea. I'm so excited for it. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a decent week of build-up. And, of course, this week, as always, we've got Oscar with us and the lads from LUFC Fan Zone, Jack and Sam. How you doing, Sam?
You all right?
Good, thanks. Good,
thanks.
yeah?
Thanks for having us on.
No worries, pal. And Jack, with that lovely tash.
Beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
What's going on?
You're doing all right, yeah?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. And how are you, Oscar, mate? Have you come down yet? Obviously, you're in Southport, mate. You've got a lot of family members that are Everton fans.
Bit of bragging rights in the office.
Yeah.
Bit of everything, a couple of Everton fans I know, but a few Everton fans in my family, to be fair. My granddad was saying he could not believe how good we were. I won't say exactly what kind of words he said it in, but there's a bit of swearing in there, but yeah, he admitted we were good, to be fair. And yeah, no, mate, unreal. I didn't think I'd see a day where I'd be able to have family bragging rights over Liverpool and Everton, to be fair.
Yeah, nice. It's good. It's been good, hasn't it? Just before we get cracking and talk some Leeds United and some football, if you could all smash a like on the video, please, it'd be greatly appreciated. The more likes we get, the more people we get to view, etc. And it just shows us that you like the content that we're putting out. So please do that. And I need to remind you all as well that this video is sponsored by Football Prizes. This week they have, a chance to win a signed Calvin Phillips framed Leeds United shirt. It's £4.95 a ticket. It ends this Friday, the 4th of December at 7:30, and these 99 tickets available. Oscar, due to his amazing selling techniques, we came on air last week with a Rafinha shirt, and by the end of it, it had gone. So I'm hoping I can do the same, but we'll have to wait and see. Although we don't get any cash from it. And if you're not a Leeds United fan, there are other shirts available. Look, you've got Erling Haaland, the Wunderkid signed Dortmund shirt. You've got a James Milner signed Liverpool shirt. You can even win £500 tax-free. £500 tax-free. £2.99 a go, 249 tickets available. So make sure you check them out. What's that as well? You can get a signed. I think I've cut it off on my screenshot. That's poor screenshotting, but that's a Jeff Hurst signed golden boot in a case. And I can't tell you how much that costs because, as I've said, my poor screenshotting has took off the cost. So you'll have to just jump on the link that's in the description to check that out. But yeah, keep smashing a like on the video and let's talk some football now then. So Sam, tell me your initial thoughts on that game on Saturday. Amazing performance from Leeds United. What are your thoughts on that result down at Goodison?
Yeah, I thought we played really well. As soon as I saw the Everton team, the first reaction was their front three of James, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. And I just thought that front three would do really well to keep them out. And I thought Leeds' defence especially did really well to keep a clean sheet and all-round good display. Yeah,
it was, wasn't it, mate? What was your key moments from that game, Sam? What was your favourite moment, do you reckon?
I just thought Rafinha played just so well throughout the whole game. And just every time he got on the ball, there seemed a chance created, and just seeing that little bit of spark. He didn't get on the ball too often, but when he did, something seemed to happen more or less every single time. Yeah,
he looks a special talent, doesn't he? Top player, and I think in a couple of years' time that price we've paid for him as well will look like a real snip. Big shout out Victor Orta, because if you look at Meslier, Koch, Rafinha, the money we've Click. Let's not forget about Click. Yeah. 1.5 mil. If these guys were to move on, hopefully they won't, but we're going to do all right on the back of that. Jack, thoughts on the game, mate?
Just to add to Sam's point at first about Rafinha, he's one of them players where whenever he gets the ball, you're excited. It reminds you of like Max Gradle, when he used to run at players, you think, right, run at the player, because you just have that confidence that he's going to absolutely humiliate somebody. But no, Rafinha was pretty much faultless the entire game. If he can play like that every single week, or even a solid 70%, 80% of what that performance was, we've got a brilliant player on his hands, and especially for the price as well. 16 million in this market's a bargain, isn't it? To put it mildly.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the game though? I thought Ayling played well. I thought Meslier had one of his best games again. Obviously, man of the match. I think thing is, I was speaking to someone about this the other week. Actually, I was saying Meslier is one of them keepers where he won't have to do much during the game, but like against Arsenal, where Saka was still on goal, if you need him, he'll be there. You know what I mean? Even if he has to make that one save, and it'll be a crucial save. He's a fantastic keeper, and for 20 years old, he's
it's a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. He's got the world at his fingers, hands, whatever the saying is.
World at his fingertips. World at his fingertips. Yeah. I really do. You think? I think that Saka save was understated. Me.
Oh,
I think it was a brilliant save.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 1-on-1. Like Jack said, he didn't have much to do in the game, and then second half when he's called upon, he pulls out a point-winning save.
Yeah, no, it was. You're right, mate. It's fantastic. For those that are asking as well, I don't know if you guys have seen. People are mentioning the FA Cup tie. I believe it's Crawley away. El Loco for Leeds has told us League 2. Crawley and Rich is asking, what does everyone think of the FA Cup draw? Oscar, what do you make to that away at League 2? This is the sort of tie that previously the old Leeds United that I've looked at and thought we're getting beat. We're getting beat.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that Crawley away, mate?
Yeah, it's decent. It's a decent game. I'd imagine with it being Crawley away rather than like Chelsea or someone like that away, it'll probably be people like Leif Davis will come in, Tyler Roberts. It'll probably be a totally different 11, but I still think we've got the team there to progress. And to be honest, mate, the way I'm looking at the way the season's developing, I really want a cup run. I really want us to go for a cup run because this season, with so many games for like your Arsenal, City, Chelsea, etc.
Arsenal in a relegation dogfight, mate. Don't forget.
You know what I mean. I want us to go for a cup this year. I'm looking at it and thinking, I don't think we're in relegation trouble. I don't think we'll ever be in relegation trouble. Realistically, we're going to push for the top 6. Who knows? If we beat Chelsea, then why not? But looking at it at the minute, I want us to go for the cups. I'd rather finish 14th and go for a proper cup run than finish 9th or 10th, to be honest. I don't see any reason why not to go for the cup. So it's a good draw for me, mate. I think it's a great opportunity for some of the young lads, and I think we'll go through, to be honest. And yeah, let's see how they get on. The only thing is against Crawley, is Casilla will probably come in and probably in some kind of way or something. But no, I'd hope Caprill maybe might play that game. Who knows?
I can't see it. I think he'll play. He'll definitely play Kiko, won't he? I think Bielsa probably feels he owes him the fact that he's having to sit on the bench. Because I don't know. Let's not go there because it just honestly it beggars belief at times. Especially, I mean, I don't want to touch on it, but the whole Cavani thing as well. I couldn't believe it when that was doing the rounds yesterday. I was like, what the fuck? I need to not swear because every time I swear we get demonetized. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, just talking about some of them youth, then Sam, who do you think he brings in that just to come away from Everton? Obviously, we want to go with what the questions that are coming in. But who do you see coming in that FA Cup tie? I think it's weekend the 9th of January this time. But
Martin 10th,
yeah. As soon as it got drawn, we put it on our account, and we had so many reminders of Sutton away, where obviously it was a different Leeds United, but there was a lot of changes and a lot of very inexperienced youth players, and the result didn't. Obviously, we lost 1-0 away to Sutton, who aren't as good as Crawley on paper, but it's a similar sort of away trip, and obviously the youth will come in, but he needs to be careful not to do it Sutton, but to obviously give the young guns a run out and the perfect opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and who comes in, Jack, for you? Because I'm thinking in my head straight away. I'm thinking Sam Greenwood. I'm thinking Joe Geldart. Let's give him a run.
Yeah. So what Sam said in terms of you want a good mix of experience and youth. Do you know what I mean? So you want your fringe players like your Kikos and your Roberts and your Davis. First team player, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you want your experience at you. So there's no reason why you can't give Geller and Sam Greenwood a run out. Do you know what I mean? Because look, if you play an experienced-ish back line and you go for more of an attacking youth, it's a run out. It's a win-win situation, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are talking about Sam Greenwood coming not into the first team, but around the first team picture this year. What's a better opportunity to start off at a League Two side, albeit not a Premier League side, but just give them a run out, see what they're like. Do you know what I mean? It's a free hit practically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think, am I right in saying as well, Sam Greenwood and Noah Kenna were training with the first team recently as well, I think. Is that right, Oscar?
I believe so, yeah.
I think a few have been as well. I was trying to think who else has. One of the Charlie Creswell has as well, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it's sent back. Definitely Kenna, and I think they're getting close, you know. I think they really are getting close. You know, a couple of injuries, suspensions, and you might see Greenwood go on the bench. You never know. You know, if Roberts gets injured, I think Greenwood's definitely next in line at the minute. But when Sam mentioned Sutton, though, as soon as I think of Sutton, I just think of Matt Grimes putting the ball over the stand when we're chasing the game in the 90th minute. Oh, just remember that's the first thing I think about. And I'm just like, oh God, that's why I thought I'd never want to go in the FA Cup again. But to be fair, I can't see that happening again. I can't see Bielsa allowing something like that to happen, especially after the whole game. You know, I can't see it taking the cup particularly lightly. I think if there's any trouble in that game against Crawley, he'll definitely be subbing on the big guns, expecting Click and that lot to be on the bench.
Do you think in that whole game, I got the impression that he just didn't care? No, I did, because I know that might sound mad, and I just thought the team selection, he didn't really change it all that much either from the bench. I think he was just more a case of giving the lads a run out. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I thought we got dominated as well in that game. They outplayed us for that 90 minutes, and I can't remember who it was, but
Alioski, lucky goal,
late last minute winner, to take it to penalties, and we got knocked out from that. But I just think you can't underestimate them. But just going back to Sutton again, the quality of youth that we currently have compared to a couple of years ago is so much different. Like you said, the Greenwoods, who we're signing for our youth team for 1.5 million reported price, which is completely different to a few years ago. It's just a different caliber of youth that we have at the club at the moment, which is great to see. Yeah,
and when you put it in that context, you know, it's the same price we paid for Matthias Click. You know, so and it's for someone that's on the youth setup. So you bang on. Just to get the burning questions as well, Jack. We've had someone ask, when does he buy his phone case to make sure he can have it for Christmas?
I saw that in the chat. Officially, I don't know yet. It's usually about the 15th or the 16th. But once I know for sure, I'll let everyone else know.
Cool. Yeah, let's talk about LUFC Fan Zone. Then obviously we've spoken before, Jack. You do some amazing phone cases, and really good. We've had some sent through a couple of times, some beauties, and you've also, because not a lot of people might be aware, obviously, if you don't have Instagram, LUFC Fan Zone have got Instagram boxed off, but if you don't have Instagram, LUFC Fan Zone have started up a podcast. Now, I was having a look, obviously, earlier on, and I was actually listening to a couple, and just to give people a flavour, because it's the most randomest football guests you can ever think of, and I'm just going to reel through some of the names. So we've got Saul Bamber, Neil Redfern, Sacco, Mbaku. Is that how I pronounce it?
Umpagegu,
yeah. Olivier de Cork, Kisnorbo, Kilgallen, Casper Ankrigan, Rudolph Austin, Chris Wood, Thomas Bianchi, Trezor Candol, Lee Chapman, David Hockaday, and David Haig. Right, there's such a wide range of Leeds related in some capacity guests, and it's a real cool angle to look at it. And I was listening to the David Hockaday one not too long before jumping on here, and it was a really interesting listen, especially when he thought he was going, was it for Leyton Orient or Leeds, and he didn't know, and he turned up and it turns out it was for Leeds, which was just insane. But just talk to us a little bit about the podcast, lads.
Do you want to, Sam?
Well, yeah, we thought, like you said before we came on, there's a lot of podcasts out at the moment. Like you said, because Leeds are in the Premier League, I think more people have decided to speak about the week and about the game. But we decided to take it from a different angle and speak to someone that has played for Leeds before or managed the club, like you said, with Redfern and Hockaday, and take it from a different angle. And even though there might be some of the randomest people, everyone's got their own individual story and their own stories about Leeds and how they got the job and how what happened during the time there. And we just found it really interesting speaking to different people of different backgrounds, and David Haig about GFH coming in and how they borrowed money off the Iranian government to buy Leeds, and just so many random things that never get released, but it's just interesting to hear.
Yeah, it's
I must mention that somebody's just put
I've seen it,
Belushi on. And
in fact, just before this, literally 15 minutes ago, we've been speaking, trying to organise our next episode, and Belushi is our next guest. We haven't officially confirmed it yet, but he will be our next guest on the LUFC Fan Zone podcast this Saturday at midday. So look forward to recording that.
Wow, yeah. And obviously, I want some people to, anyone that's watching this, I want you to get some questions in. Get some questions in for Belushi, and we can shot them across to the lads and see if they've got the balls to ask some of them that might come in.
I've got a few, but there's just no way you can ask him them because I'm gonna have to swear somewhere in the way. To be fair,
it comes to an abrupt end, wouldn't it?
The first question would be, why did you decide to try and overhead kick the ball out of the box at
on your debut at Watford as well?
Beautiful memories, aren't
there? I just remember though, like when we signed Belushi, was it on his Twitter where he was called the Warrior? Was that what it was? The Warrior, wasn't it? And we were all so hyped with it though, like the Warrior, he's the one, man. And it was mad. But Jack, what's been your favourite so far? You know, of the guests that you've had on.
For me, somebody asked this about a month ago on, because obviously on Instagram you can ask for questions, and somebody asked it, and I said, Kill Gallen. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed every interview, and every guest had something, like I said, something unique to say, but Kill Gallen, sometimes, when you record it with certain people, you can feel a little bit like, not on edge, but like it's a little bit awkward at first. And with Kill Gallen, literally, it's like within 5 minutes, you just felt like it was just one of your mates. You know what I mean? And he was telling us loads of different stories, and he was genuinely interested in in like what we had to do. And it's nice for people not to ask you questions, but to have an interest in what you're doing as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely, of course. I mean, we're not lucky enough to have ex-pros on here, though. You know, they don't fancy a dabble in the YouTube game. Although, to be fair, we've never reached out. We've never reached out.
For some advice. Sam's the one who puts all the.
Oh, really?
To get I'm just the sound technician for it. I do all the editing stuff and get it out there. So no, it's Sam who does. So
if we need to find an ex-pro, we need to speak to. We need to speak to Sam, is that what we're saying,
yeah? Some of them are harder to get than others. Like, some don't even have the social media accounts and that, but they are worth digging for.
I mean,
go
on,
what were you going to say?
I don't explain how you ended up getting Chapman on.
Yeah, Lee Chapman. We had to find his son on Instagram, Joe Chapman, I think it was called. You can imagine the amount of different Joe Chapmans there are. Messaged him. He then gave us his work email address. We then emailed his work, asking if we could get his contact number, messaged him, and 1 month later, there he was on WhatsApp, FaceTiming him for an hour. Nice guy, wow. Class.
Oscar, you spoke to Lee Chapman, haven't you, mate?
Oh, mate, he's unreal. He's so humble, isn't he? Considering if you just spoke to him and didn't have a clue about football, or didn't watch football, you just think like he'd never play football at all, because he's just so humble in that lot, and absolutely brilliant. You wouldn't believe, after I finished speaking to him, I had to look back up his goal record, and I thought, he plays it down his Leeds career so much, but when you consider what he achieved, he comes in January 1990, gets us promoted, and he's top scorer and we win the league, and you think, he should have his own statue, really. He's a talisman during 92, but
One of the questions we asked him was when he scored 30 goals in the season, and David Batty got Player of the Month over him. And the question was, do you think you deserve to be Player of the Month in that Leeds team because you obviously contributed so much? And David Batty got it. And he was like, no, David Batty 100% deserved it. I was just there to score the goals, but he was the one that won us the league. And I just thought, like you said, so humble.
That's good, man. That's nice, though, isn't it? Someone's asked as well, Rich, friend of the show, you should try get Batty. I think it's highly unlikely that he'd be willing to do it. But just on the back of that, Jack, who would be your if you could have any guest, Leeds, past and present, who would be the one you would have?
You might have to come back to me in 5 minutes.
Oh, really? You're having a nice little thing. What about Sam?
Yeah, like when I was growing up, it was when Leeds were in League One. We'd just fallen down to third tier of football for the first time in Leeds' history. And that was when sort of me and Jack was really starting to understand football and start going to the games. And for us, we were talked about before, aren't we, where Jermaine Beckford is sort of our like Leeds United hero just because of the way how we first started watching, and he got us out of League One and was such an influential player. But because he's tied to Leeds and got his official contacts, he just don't fancy it. But we would love to speak to him about that. And Becchio's another one.
Are they your main ones? Yeah, they'd be your dream guests.
To be fair, I can't really disagree with Sam on that one, you know. I thought, you know what, I'll try to be original with it, but I think it is Beck, you know, like Sam mentioned, from our lifetime, it's all, I can only speak for myself on this one, but all my main good memories of supporting Leeds are Manchester United away, Bristol Rovers at home, do you know what I mean? So Beckford is, for me, like the dogs.
The dogs, yeah. Oh, really? Just if you hang around the pavilion long enough on match day and you get there early enough, you'll always bump into Beckford. He's always walking to and from the ground.
Bug him every Saturday.
Oh, so you see him there, yeah, and you
still gives in.
Yeah, just do that, man. Just do that. Oscar, what about you? Just out of interest, if we dabbled into that, who would be the one?
I still dream the day we get Mateus Click on some kind of format on this channel. If it's even if it's just a drinking thing or something like that, it's got, I don't know, probably Click. And in terms of like in the past, Beckford would have to be up there. There's something about Max Gradle I'd really want to get on the channel. It's just because he's just mad, and he's just like, his story is just like zero to hero, and then finished off a hero kind of thing. But yeah, that's probably goes. I think Bex has probably got to be the one, or Becchio. I think them at the same time is probably what the ultimate dream is, really, to be fair.
We were close to having Becchio on, but it was at the time of when Phil Hay wrote an article on him, not for The Athletic. I'm not sure if you can remember. But he said he didn't want to speak to us because he told Phil Hay that he couldn't speak English to him. So he didn't want to fob Phil Hay off by speaking to us in English and no to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do that to him.
That'd have been real cool, wouldn't it? If you'd have got him, that'd have been absolutely brilliant. I think for me, you know, not that anyone asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'd get me Alan Smith. I don't know how that goes down, but I think it'd be Alan Smith, just because no one's done that. No one's done that, and I think that'd be the key one, man. No one's really
to a story, isn't there, I suppose.
Yeah, no one's really had that opportunity. There was a clip came out the other week where he was speaking about Man United, and he says, "I don't regret signing for the club for football reasons," but that's all we got. And I'd love to know what his thoughts were. Obviously, his time at Leeds, a Leeds lad, etc. I know. Like Ryan at the Pigeons grew up with him or was close to him, you know. And I think people have tried to reach out. And I think he's in America or Australia now, but I just think America, yeah. It'd just be nice to get him on and just speak to him, because I know a lot of people won't like this, but I forgive him personally. I know some won't. You know, I've got friends that refuse to buy the 32 red shirt because it had the word red on it, not even the colour. I mean, if they see me in my burgundy shirt, I'd probably get a slap. But yeah, I just think mine would be Alan Smith, you know. Like Sam King said, look, would you even shake his hand? Look, there's still some people there that won't abide the man. But it'd just be nice to speak to him. But we have digressed slightly from talking about Everton, but it's nice to do that. It's nice to do that. So, like I say, make sure you check out LUFC Fan Zone's podcast. I've been listening to it earlier on. It's a really good listen, and like you say, you can just obviously listen to them all, but there's some key people on there where you think, oh, I'd like to know what went on there, you know. And Hockaday was the one that stood out for me, man, big time. So make sure you check them out, guys. They're doing a great job. So we've sort of done Everton to a death on all Leeds TV a little bit. So let's talk about the upcoming opponents and Chelsea. We've just been speaking about Alan Smith there and Man United. Chelsea, for me, personally, at this moment in time, are up there, or if not more. I want to beat Chelsea more than I want to beat Man United this season. And I want to know what people's comments are, what people's thoughts are in the comments to that statement. Obviously, there's a massive rivalry with Chelsea that goes back years, goes back to the FA Cup. But what are people's thoughts on that? And I want to get your guys' thoughts on that as well. Just how do you see? I just with the whole Lampard situation and how it is now, I just see it being more of a game that I personally, as a Leeds United fan, want us to win this season. I'll come to you, Oscar, first.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one because I think Lampard, a lot of my dislike for that particular situation, of Derby, it kind of went after Derby had to give us the lap of honour. It kind of thought, you know what, we kind of got the last laugh in that. And we got last laugh at Derby, but maybe not so much Lampard's. But
exactly, yeah.
It's kind of watered down a little bit for me. I still agree with you fully. I think Chelsea, in terms of what they've done this season, gone and spent millions, and just all the media love for Chelsea, and the fact Lampard, Solskjaer, I don't actually dislike that much, to be fair. It's just the fact that he's a legend for them. I don't actually dislike him as a person, but Lampard is just just bitter about everything. I think part of it as well is the fact that, from near Liverpool as well, so naturally I've got the Gerrard Lampard kind of rivalry as well, so I kind of always go for Gerrard on that. So I just can't stand Lampard. I just can't stand anything about him. For that reason, I'd have to agree with you, mate. 100% want to beat Chelsea more than Man United, to be honest, this season.
Yeah, same. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, exactly the same. Like you said, the way how Derby beat us in the playoffs, and then Lampard obviously left for Chelsea, and the way how he sort of inherited that Chelsea team was when they had the transfer ban, wasn't it? So he helped bring the youth players that he had at Derby back to Chelsea and helped progress. Well, had to feature them because of the ban. So they had Tomori and they had Mount that he brought in, and then as soon as they were allowed to buy the players, they sort of spent all the money, the hundreds of millions or whatever they done on Werner and Havertz and them sort of players, and just half forgot about the youth and decided to try and buy the league again, and it hasn't sort of gone to plan, but the Lampard effect will nice to get one back on him.
Definitely. I backed the start of the season Bielsa to do the double over Lampard, both home and away. I got 26-1. So what are your thoughts on that, Jack? Does that come in? Can we get a result against Chelsea on Saturday down in Stamford Bridge?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we play better against the better teams. And I know Leicester doesn't fit into that statement, but going off the general, we play better against teams who come at us as opposed to teams who will throw men behind the ball, like in the Championship. And I can't remember who I was saying to, but Arsenal, that game literally reminded me of Luton last year. 10 men behind, not 11 men obviously, because Pepe got sent off, but when there's 10 men behind the ball, I know it's hard to defend and break down a team, but Leeds don't finish their chances. Like, let's be real. We don't, do we? And when a team are wanting to defend against us, it makes it even harder for us. And Chelsea, they're going to come for the 3 points. They're going to need the 3 points because where they are in the table, they can't afford to drop points. So I think if they come at us, there's no reason why we can't. Not to say we won't have the bunch of possession, but there's no reason why we can't go there and do one over on them, whether it be a draw or 3 points. Because I'm going to be realistic. I'd take a draw.
Yeah, definitely. We need to remember where the game is as well, because it's in London,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Never win in London. It's
Well, no.
smog or whatever it is. We
Never
never
a better
win.
time though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't think fans will play into it.
Yeah, what do you make to that then, boys? What do you make to the fact that they will have 2,000 fans in the ground?
Yeah, I personally think, like, sort of echo what Bielsa said, if there was a team in Tier 1, for example, which there isn't at the moment, then they will be able to have 4,000, and the teams in Tier 2, like the Chelseas and the rest of the London team, have 2,000, and the Leeds and the Manchesters and no, Liverpool in Tier 2, aren't they? But they have none. So even though it is a small advantage, it is an advantage, and I personally think that they should have waited until it was possible for everyone to watch the football. Even if, for example, Leeds were in Tier 2 and could have 2,000, other people couldn't have any fans. I still would have thought that is an unfair advantage on some of the league, because how teams can have their supporters cheering them on, albeit just 2,000, it will make an impact, especially in the bigger stadiums where there's 2,000 people, because then, if anything, you can surely hear each individual voice, their abuse towards
That's what I
the
was
away
thinking
teams,
myself, yeah.
So when there's the big crowd, you can't hear the individual voices, but when there's a small amount of people, surely you're going to be able to hear every individual insult towards Mr. Patrick Bamford up front.
I was saying exactly the same thing to my brother yesterday, Sam. You know, it's gonna be quite good, but also that could fire him up, because if there's an individual having a go at Patrick and he scores, you know where he's going. You know where he's going. So which is class. Just on that, because Jack touched on it as well, Oscar, about us not finishing chances, and we had a guy, and I want to shout him out. I don't know if he'll watch this. Called Effie Brilovsky. On our YouTube comments, and he commented on every single video we did, and he put it all in block capitals so that we didn't miss it, right? So I want to give him a shout out for his comments, and I just want to get your thoughts. He put Arab, he really shouted it. I don't know if you could see that. He really shouted it anyway, and he was like, inability to be clinical in front of goal is screaming to high heaven, and if it wasn't for Pickford donation, we would not have scored again. Loads of exclamation marks, right? So he's obviously really angry at the fact that we didn't bemoan the missed chances. But I'm still of the thinking that it was more unlucky and not poor finishing. What are your thoughts on that, Oscar? Or do you think... I think for me, the only one for me was the Harrison one, where he should finish, where Rafinha plays him in. I think Bamford's telling him to play him in, he plays him in, and he should score. All the rest, for me, were more unlucky. What are your thoughts? Because obviously this guy, Effie Bralovsky, believes that we just can't finish. You know, people who don't watch the game, and I mentioned it in my post-match, I get frustrated because all I get, especially from friends that text me, is you need a better striker. If you had a better striker, you'd be fine. I don't think Bamford's doing a bad job, personally. I think he's been great in both the games against Arsenal and Everton. And I think he's taking unfair stick for that from some fans and some people outside of it. But what are your thoughts, Oscar? Do you agree with him that we should be more scathing at the missed chances?
Well, I think, we probably could have had four or five, I thought, on Saturday. Being honest, looking back at the game, I think there was some of the chances, I didn't appreciate how good they were at the time, but watching them back, I think obviously the Harrison one, which he slid wide, that's probably the worst of the lot.
Yeah.
I do feel Costa should have took that chance at the end, though. You know, that one where the angle was quite favourable. It was on his strong foot. Pickford was already down. He probably just should have just put that over and kind of thing. And I think a fully confident Costa buries that back of the net, to be fair. But there was another brilliant comment on mine, to be fair, that said, these aren't just any chances. These are M&S chances. It was something like that. And it was brilliant. But
we do read your comments, guys, by the way. So do get them in. We do read them.
We look at them. What I would say is I'm very much of the thinking that it's better to create chances and miss them to not create chances at all, because eventually, if it goes off someone's backside, a bit lucky, in that lot, you're going to score goals. It's all about creating the chances for me, and we've seen so many Leeds teams in the past under Steve Evans, etc., Gary Monk, where there's no creativity in the team at all. But this team, you can never ever accuse this team of lacking creativity. So I don't see that as a problem. I think it will turn around very quickly in terms of our efficiency, and I think Chelsea's the game to start it with.
Nice. And Mick Flanagan says, so we're going to go the whole season being unlucky then. And just hearing you say that as well, Oscar, I can hear myself back. I don't know if that's Oscar on his computer. But I've said on the end of my videos that some teams are going to come and they're going to get hiding, right? Because of these missed chances. If we convert them all, Everton gets spanked. If we convert them all against Arsenal, Arsenal gets spanked. But then I think back to the Championship and how many times I would go on podcasts or I would say on my own video, someone's going to be on the end of a hiding from Leeds. And it never happened.
Yeah.
Them whole 2 years.
5-0.
Who?
The Stoke 5-0. It all came together in that one.
Right, okay, yeah. So that's towards the end, right? That's towards the end. But I'm thinking there's Borough as well, fair enough for. But I'm thinking the whole of Bielsa's tenure, I remember saying it. I felt like a broken record. And as I was saying it on my post-match, saying someone's going to be on the end of a hiding, I started to question in my head and go, you've said this before, Joe. So Sam, do you think do you go along with that? Do you think someone will get a spanking, or is it just poor finishing? And look, everyone's got their own opinion. Do you think that it is due to a lack of poor finishing, or is it being unlucky?
Yeah, like you said, I've been exactly the same. Like the amount of chances we create I saw the stat, and it was on the last. There were 4 games against Aston Villa, Everton, Arsenal, and Man City. In them 4 games, Leeds had 82 chances, I think it was, and scored how many goals? And like you said, fans have been going on about how some team needs to get spanked by the amount of chances we have, the amount we have every game. But like you said, we had so many chances against Everton, and we scored 1. But at the end of the day, Everton didn't score, and we still won the match. So if we would have scored 5, 3 points. If we scored 1, 3 points. So we won the game without exactly.
Nice. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, mate.
What about you, mate? Just on the chances. Because I know you mentioned it and you said, look, we can't score. So I was thinking maybe you're of the thinking that maybe it's due to lack of it's poor finishing.
To say it's poor finishing would be unjust, I think. Like Oscar mentioned, I would much rather be in the situation where we are creating the chances. It's just the final thing, the build up. We can play the ball just as good as any other team in this league, dare I say it, on the planet. It's just literally putting the ball in the back of the net. Sometimes it's like Pickford made multiple brilliant saves, and for that you can't fault any of our lads. But I think, look, it's just one of them games, isn't it, really? Sometimes I get like against Stoke and like Fulham, we took us chances and we blow teams over. Sometimes, which always seems to happen a lot with us, keepers have absolute worldies. And then that keeps us score down. But look, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's part and parcel with Bielsa ball, I think. To criticise Bamford, you'd have to be moronic. You know what I mean? No, but seriously, you know what I mean? Like, for a striker who's come out of the Championship and scored 7, I saw who did it for Newcastle? He got 30. Not to say Bamford is going to get 30 goals in his first season, but at this rate, he ain't going to be far off it. So
29. 29.
Was it 29?
No. I mean, like he'll get.
He will get.
I was trying to be funny, Jack. I was trying to be funny.
I'm just thick. No, there's a striker for Newcastle. Somebody might have to Google it or put it in the chat. Who got 30, but like I said, if Bamford keeps on like this, there's no reason why he can't not get 30, but he'll definitely be up there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, man. I agree. I think up until, I don't know if this stat continued actually at the Everton game. Yeah, it did, because he did get a shot on target because Pickford pulled off a save. He was the only player in the Premier League to have a shot on target in every game this season prior to Everton. And he did get one on target at Everton. I know it doesn't convert to goals, but it just shows you that we are creating the chances, do you know what I mean? And Bamford's in the right areas and know that like you say, if he's had a shot on target and he continues to have a shot on target, he's going to have a lot of goals come the end of the season, 100%. And he has my full backing. Big shout out Lox Martin as well, from Leicester City Fan TV, good friend of the channel, will be joining us on Before the Whistle Blows on Friday night at 8 p.m. Super chat, thank you, buddy. He says, how are you doing, lads? Good job I'm not on with you tonight. Absolutely fuming with our performance. Spineless, embarrassing, fuming. Obviously, Leicester getting beat by arguably the worst team in the division against Fulham. Quite a surprise, if I'm being totally honest. But we'll discuss that on Friday, Lox, when we have you back on Before the Whistle Blows. I'm not sure who you've got up next, but hopefully you'll bounce back with a win, because you're not playing Leeds, so I don't mind you winning. Let's have a look at some more of these comments coming in.
Just answer my question. Now, it was Kevin Phillips. Then I'm going to sound like a right idiot. It was for Sunderland, not Newcastle.
Sunderland, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, good job. Hope there's no Newcastle fans.
No, yeah, I knew it was somewhere up there.
Yeah, Kevin Phillips, eh? Not bad. All right, I'm just having a look, see if we've had any more questions coming. Guys, keep getting your questions in. Just on Chelsea then, obviously, I don't know if any of you seen the game yesterday. I thought it was a bit of a stinker. And I know Chelsea created much more than Tottenham. Nothing real clear cut, in my opinion. It was really boring to watch. Like, my partner doesn't mind watching football from time to time, but we were sat and just said, "Oh man, this is terrible. Can we just switch it off?" I was like, something might happen, man. And then obviously Zuma gave the ball away at the end, and I was like, "Please, Tottenham, please!" But it wasn't to be. But they didn't really create much, and every time Chelsea have come up against a decent side, it's been similar. It was the same against Liverpool, stinker. It was the same against Man United, stinker. Same against Tottenham. I'm not saying we're in that bracket, but we can play a bit. And I think we can get something. But I am fearful of the players at their disposal. But Oscar, I'm assuming you've seen the game. What are your thoughts on Chelsea, my man?
I just don't think they're. I think they're good, but they're not that good, kind of thing. I don't see them as this. I'm still not convinced of title challenges. I still think Liverpool and City are more obvious title challenges. I think Tottenham. I was disappointed with Tottenham, to be honest, yesterday, because I thought Tottenham. I think I said, about 20 minutes to go, I thought the game was there for the taking for Tottenham. If they just made more, when they took off Son for Ben Davis late on, I was thinking, what are you doing? You can win this game. You've got Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva's still a really good centre-back, but playing him in the high line, you got Son running in behind him, and I just look at it and know we'll go for it more than Tottenham did. And I think when you look at Rafinha running in, Harrison, Alioski, Rodrigo, whoever starts, I think we can cause them. I think we'll create chances. Maybe not as many as we did against Everton, but we'll create chances against Chelsea. I think we'll have 3 or 4 good ones. No matter what Chelsea do at the other end of the pitch, I can guarantee you we'll have chances in that game on Saturday. Of course, going forward, I think obviously Abraham's in good form at the minute. He wasn't particularly good yesterday. It'll be interesting to see how Robin Koch does against him. Obviously, Werner is kind of being a bit hot and cold so far. I think he obviously lovely finish in that first half, but obviously offside. But he's missed a few. Missed a few last couple of games. He's missed a few absolute sitters. But look, it's Timo Werner. You never really know what you're going to get with him. But on his days, he's a top quality player, and that's the thing, mate. Look at the subs Chelsea brought on: Pulisic, Giroud, and I'm trying to think Havertz. That's is that 100 billion, 150 million pounds worth of talent there? That's the thing. Is Jack? It costs more than our team, and that's the thing. Whoever Chelsea do decide to put on that team on Saturday is admittedly going to have more quality on paper than us. But what I will say is Chelsea have got to play midweek. Let's not forget that. Chelsea have got to play midweek. They play quite high intensity. There'll be a little bit. There might be a little bit of fatigue going into it on Saturday. And of course, Lampard will be quick to point that one out. Don't get that one twisted, mate. He'll be quick to point that one out. And get the excuses in early.
Thing is, you've already qualified, have they not? So I don't think there's nothing really to play for in that game. So I can't see any of the so-called big hitters playing for Chelsea midweek.
Oh, really? They've already qualified.
Are they qualified?
Yeah, they qualified last game.
He'll still make excuses, though. He'll still make the excuses, though.
It was, I'm trying to think.
They beat Rennes, didn't they? 2-1. I know they beat Rennes 2-1.
Giroud who scored.
Yeah. See, I'd be more fearful. I know you mentioned Tammy Abraham there. I'd be more fearful of Giroud. He just knows where I think he's quality, and I think he shouldn't be on the bench there. He's someone I'd take at Leeds United in a heartbeat, Olivier Giroud, if I'm being totally honest. I like him, me. I think he's class. But anyway, someone's mentioned this. Rodrigo, right? So a few people have mentioned in the chat about Rodrigo. Does Rodrigo start Saturday? So I'm going to come to the boys at LUFC Fan Zone. What do you make to Rodrigo not making much of an appearance? We were watching the game on Saturday, me and Oscar, and we were both saying from about 55, I think we said, all the way right up to the 90-odd minute when he came on. Why aren't you bringing Rodrigo in? When's he bringing Rodrigo in? I was listening to Lad and Dad earlier on, and I think I think Dad had said to Lad that after 5 minutes, his son was saying, bring Rodrigo up, for God's sake. So there's a real clamouring for Rodrigo amongst the majority of the fan base. Do you think he starts on Saturday, and do you want to see him start on Saturday, Jack?
If fit, 100% fit, then yes, obviously. I think Rodrigo is like Rafinha, is one of them players, you get the ball and you're just hooked on him because you're just thinking, like, you have no idea what he's going to do next. Very much Pablo-esque. Do you know what I mean? He can pick that pass out to someone who's not even in the field of view in the camera. Do you know what I mean? So he is a class above, and his price tag justifies that, and it basically says that. Do you know what I mean? So does Rodrigo play if he's fit? Yeah, absolutely. Not to say like anybody deserved to get dropped after the Everton game, but Rodrigo's Rodrigo, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Is our record signing. Personally, I think I'm at first when he started playing that centre mid role, I was a bit like wasted. But the more I see him in that centre mid role, like that pass to Costa, which we posted on our page, you just think like, for a striker or a centre forward, so to speak, it's fantastic. Do you know what I mean? He can literally play anywhere. Say if Bamford were to get injured, God forbid, I'm sure everyone here, I'm right in saying everyone have confidence in Rafinha. I keep calling Rafinha for some reason. Rodrigo stepping up and filling in his boots. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, Rodrigo does play. He's by far, I'd say our best player, judging off the price tag, and his caliber of players is in a league of his own compared to the rest of our squad. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that.
Oh, that's bold. That's bold. I can see Oscar fuming there.
No,
what about Matty Click? What about Matty Click?
Just to clarify what I mean by that, I don't want the wrong.
Yeah,
I don't want the wrong end of the stick from this. I mean, like, in terms of player profile signing, I mean, he's in a league of his own. Like, for me, Rodrigo could walk into the Chelsea team. It'd be maybe not the Chelsea team, because obviously they've got Havertz and Kante in the middle. But he could walk into the majority of a top 6 Premier League team easily.
He's improved Arsenal tomorrow, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
If he went into Arsenal or Scum, he'd improve him tomorrow, wouldn't he? If he went into their teams.
Yeah, 100%. And let's not forget, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid were all interested in him not too distant windows ago. So you bang on. Sorry, Jack, I was only just winding Oscar up, with his Matty Click.
Again.
I was. I tried to stir it up. We had Josh Hobbs and Oscar on not too long ago, and they always have little spats on Twitter. So I was trying to wind it up. But Sam, if Rodrigo comes in, and Jack said he's 100% fit, let's say hypothetically he is, who comes out and where do we? Is it just, sorry, Alioski, you've done really well, mate, but Dallas is going back at left back, or does Dallas drop out?
Yeah, that is the risk, isn't it? Like Rodrigo's quality is there to be seen in it. Although obviously he's not playing in arguably his preferred position up front, where before he came to Leeds, everyone was saying, he's played however many games for Valencia and scored 5 goals. It's clear to see why he's so good by the way he holds the ball, and the ball just sticks to him, his layoff, his creativity there. But like, he obviously had COVID, didn't he? So he wouldn't have been training anywhere near Leeds' training ground for 2 weeks. So that maybe is the reason why he hasn't been playing, how he hasn't been Bielsa fit, like the nice term to use it, how he hasn't been in and around the first team for a couple of weeks while he was ill. But it would be harsh on Alioski to drop straight out, because Leeds have won the game. So would you change the winning team for Rodrigo? Or I don't know. It's Bielsa's choice and Llorente as well. It'd be nice to see him play.
Yeah, I don't think.
But then once again, would you drop Cooper or Koch just to fit the new signing in when they've been playing so well at the back and on the end of a win?
Yeah, obviously I listen to a lot of Leeds podcasts and I listen to the lads at All Stats Art Week because they know a lot more about football than me, and I get a really decent knowledge. I'll get some information from them. And they mention Llorente. And they say Llorente is not coming in to replace Cooper. They're not going to put him on that side of defence, all right? I'm not sure if that's true. That's just they say, because is he predominantly right-footed, I'm assuming, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, that means I don't. If that's the case, I don't understand the buy, because he's not. If he's competing, because they say Strauch will compete with Cooper, Llorente to compete with Koch, which is fair enough, or maybe Llorente comes in at DM in some games, but I just don't see the point of the outlay if he's not going to compete with, and I mean this with the best intention, the lesser of the two centre-backs we have.
Yeah. And
do you know what I mean?
It was sort of clear to see as well, because when we were getting linked with Josko Gvardiol from Zagreb before he went to Leipzig, he was obviously younger and he was about the same amount of price tag as Llorente, but he was left-footed, so there was sort of an argument as to see why he could have been the replacement for Cooper or option for Cooper. But when him went cold and his move went somewhere else, we obviously jumped for Llorente. But like people have mentioned, he is a right-footer, so it would be interesting to see if Bielsa does play two right-footed centre-backs instead of his left foot and his right foot.
Yeah, it will be. Do you see that, Jack, at all? Or do you go along with that you can't have a right-footed? Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, after watching Bielsa for 2 years, you can't really write off anything.
No, that's the thing. Yeah.
I'd like to see Llorente and Koch. But at the same time, I've got this attachment to Cooper for what he's done. Do you know what I mean?
I get it.
And I think Koch is a brilliant replacement, but he's also an expensive one as well. So it kind of feels like if you pay 20 million for a centre half, especially at our level as well, he's got to be playing, really. You know what I mean? It seems bizarre to pay 20 million for someone who's just going to play as and when.
That's what I don't understand as well. That's what my thought was. Every time I hear it, I'm like, I don't know, but they just know more about me. I just think it seems strange for that outlay for him to just compete with Koch.
Yeah.
You know, it does. Jack's just put in the chat there, guys, 200 likes and we'll give away a phone case. Not us, because we don't produce phone cases, but the lads at LUFC Fan Zone will. So let's see what we're on now. If before the end of the video we get to 200 likes, there's 218 people watching. There's only 98 likes. Get a like smashed, and then we'll let the lads pick someone out of the chat for a free phone case. Is that all right?
That's perfect. However you want to run it, mate. And as well, I don't know if you don't mind this, but there's also a 25% off and it ends at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So, you know, if you want to get a phone case.
There you go. Perfect. No, of course. Get on over. Honestly, they've got some great phone cases and stuff over there. So make sure you check them out. Make sure you do that. Right, so let's move on over then, Oscar, and we'll do your 1 to 5 as we've coined it. We really need to come up with a better name than 1 to 5, but I'm just not. What's the word I'm looking? I just don't have an imagination. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm not creative. See, I couldn't even think of that word. So we need someone like yourself who's creative, really, Jack. You let me know a new name when you have a think over it. But yeah, it's our 1 to 5. So I'll hand on over to Oscar and he can take you through your ultimate Leeds five-a-side teams.
As ever, guys, we've got the final bit of Monday Night Football. So let's go to Jack first. Let's go to Jack. Interesting team, this. I'm going to talk us through the board, mate.
So I must clarify, this is from my lifetime. So this is basically from 2008, 9 onwards. So obviously you're probably thinking half the people in here are probably not the best players of all time. However, during my lifetime, I would arguably say these are my favourite players during that period. So, start off in net, Rob Green. I think to be fair, we haven't had the best choice of goalkeepers over the last 10 years. I was kind of stuck between Rob Green and Kasper Schmeichel, but I just feel like Rob Green was one of them goalkeepers where he, minus a Newcastle mistake, I just felt like he was one of them players who had a solid 8 out of 10 every game, and it was somebody who you really like trusted on the ball. Do you know what I mean? You didn't think he was going to flap at it. But yeah, my goalkeeper is Rob Green, and in defence, I've had to go with the captain himself, Mr. Liam Cooper. Obviously 6 years at Leeds, and since his time under Bielsa, he's just become a completely different animal. You know what I mean? Who would have thought 3 years ago that it'd be a Premier League defender holding his own? And for it to be over 5 years since his first game of captain Leeds, I feel like it would be criminal for me to leave him out of this, really. So yeah, defence is Liam Cooper. Bringing it into the midfield, so I wanted to split this into a defensive and an attacking to try and get the best of both. And obviously defensive, there's only one real name really what sticks out, and it's Calvin Phillips, as you can see on screen. And similarly to Cooper under Bielsa, he's a completely different animal. He was, for me, somebody who I would have preferred to see leave rather than Ronaldo Vieira the summer before Bielsa came in. To me, Vieira was the better midfielder that season. But obviously, right now, I am happy that he has stayed, don't get me wrong. And he is arguably the best academy graduate we've had since we got relegated from the Premier League. So, yeah, and I think as well, Calvin Phillips is you know what I mean? He embodies what it is to be Leeds. He's obviously he's grown up around the area. He's come through the academy, and he's just Leeds, isn't he? Really, to put it briefly. But moving on to the attacking mid, I've gone with El Maggio, Pablo Hernandez, because to be fair, I could have based it off this itself. I was going to put Snodgrass in, but then Hernandez popped into mind. I just thought you can't not have Hernandez. Do you know what I mean? During the championship, he not carried, but he was phenomenal for the biggest part of 3 years. And let's not forget, he's older. Do you know what I mean? He's getting towards the latter end of his career. And for me, what really brought it over Snodgrass was his form after lockdown when we came back, and there's many games. Swansea, to be more I can't think. Swansea, basically, where he took that game by the scruff of the neck, came on at half time, and he won us that game. And for me, I thought after that Swansea game, I can say it now because it's done and over with, but after that Swansea game, I thought, that's it, we're up. Do you know what I mean? And he's like a wine, and he just gets better with age. And I can't see him getting as many minutes, but for what he's done over the last 3 years, he'll be a Leeds United legend, no doubt. And he defo has a place in my five-a-side team. And to finish it off in attack, I've gone with Jermaine Beckford for reasons which you'll probably already know why. Can
you believe, though, Jack? I think, Joe might correct me here, I think you're the first person to have actually selected Beckford up top, I think. I think more people have selected Rob Green than Beckford so far, which, if you can believe.
Yeah, it's true. We've only ever had two not pick Pablo, and they were both, in terms of the guests we've on, a little bit older. So I can understand it. Sorry, Gaz and Mickey P, but they were a little bit older. But yeah, Beckford, that's true. No, maybe. What about Lads? Did Ladd?
I think Ladd went for Chris Woods off the top of my head.
He did. Yeah.
I think when I was putting it together, I thought, blimey, I think it is the first time I've had Beckford. So, I mean, go on, Jack. Explain to us why Beckford over the others then.
Well, for me, like I said, I based it off my memories, and don't get me wrong, Becchio was always up there as well, but in terms of memories, obviously Manchester United in the FA Cup, January the 3rd. And more important for me is, And more importantly, I think is Bristol Rovers, that promotion-winning goal. Do you know what I mean? It's times like that where you need players like that to step up. And Beckford, do you know what I mean? It was a hard finish. I've God knows how many times I've watched a goal, but that split-second reaction, not to just put your ball, just not like put your foot through it, just to bounce it underneath the keeper. It's genius, isn't it? Really, do you know what I mean? Split-second decision, and for that, Jermaine Beckford finishes off my 1 to 5 dream team.
Love that, Jack. Love that.
Dude,
And it's you make a great point, obviously, about KP and stuff. He was at the time, like when you said he's probably arguably our best academy graduate since dropping out of the Prem. When he came through with a stalwart of players that at the time, and what they initially went on to do, you'd be like, he was the worst of the bunch, really.
Yeah.
You know, your Byrams, your Taylors, your Cooks. I remember Lewis Cook when he burst on the scene, man. It was like, wow, this kid's going to do bits.
Flashback 5 years ago, though, like if you'd have said that Lewis Cook would be playing in the Championship and Phillips would be in the England team, you'd have laughed in my face. You know what I mean? So
that's the thing.
It's funny how football works.
Yeah, it's mad. I still think, though, if we had Lewis Cook at the club, Bielsa would have turned him into an absolute baller.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'd still love him back at some point. Just some point, just because he was amazing when he busted through on that scene. But yeah, we'll move it on. Great 1 to 5. As always, we'll put them out on social media. I think come the end of the season, what we'll have to do, Oscar, whoever won each show, we'll have to make like a semi and a final and do like an ultimate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're building a good collection here. I mean,
yeah, we are.
Sam, I'm going to go to yours, mate. I mean, you've gone something a little bit different. You've got a bit of there's players from each era in, which I quite like. I quite like this. It's very multi-era, should we say? Talk us through the board, mate.
Right, so a bit different to Jack. I've seen 4 of these 5 players play. The only one is Vinnie Jones. Because when Leeds were obviously on the decline in the early 2000s, I was just 4 years old, and my dad was saying, Sam, I realised Leeds are probably going to go all the way down. We might not even get back to the Premier League. So he took me to Ellen Road when I was 3. And luckily I saw Nigel Martin play, Radaby and Viduka, all Bolton at home it was, I remember. But anyway, Nigel Martin in goal because, like Jack said, recently Leeds haven't had the best flock of goalkeepers, even though Ilan has, like we said earlier, has had a great start to Leeds, only 20 years old. Hopefully he's at Ellen Road for a long time to come. But Nigel Martin speaks for himself because he's arguably one of the greatest Leeds United goalkeepers to play for the club. And then centre-back, former Leeds United captain Lucas Radaby, just because of his stature at the club and his loyalty to Leeds United when he came over to England and just played so well at the heart of the defence and was a rock for Leeds during the Premier League times at the beginning of the 2000s again. And I've picked these last 3 players a bit differently to maybe ability, because in my 5-a-side experience, when I used to play on a Sunday before lockdown, there was always a kid on the other team who just used to run rings around you for fun with the nutmegs and the skills for days. So that player for my team is going to be Pablo Hernandez because, like Jack said, the magician, he does what he wants. He at least 4 megs a game. He can do that in my team any day. But then, once again, for my 5-a-side experience, when someone does that, people start getting a bit feisty and try to snap him and get a bit dirty with the tackling. So then Vinnie Jones there next to him in the heart of midfield, as soon as that starts going on, he can sort him out. And I'm sure no one will be putting any dirty tackles on Pablo just for his ability to just chin him under the ref. And some of the dirty tackles used to put him back in the day obviously wouldn't have been seen now. And then
having people's balls as well.
Exactly. And we know how that ended up from that Fisher the other week from Preston 3-game ban.
Wow.
And then up front,
I mean, he didn't just grab his balls. He basically was. He might as well have like tossed him off, basically.
And then up front is Mark Viduka, not just because of his unbelievable finishing, but as we all know, in 5-a-side, there's no offside. So, like at Highbury at Arsenal away, don't care about the offside flag, just goes running on goal and finishes it off. So, they can do that any day in my 1 to 5 team.
Love that.
I like that. It's I think to be honest, I think Sam will win this on the.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because purely for the names, but to be fair, Jack's team I can appreciate for like the last sort of 10 years or so. But yeah, no, fair play.
Yeah, man, great as always, guys. As always, I'm just looking at the chat now. We asked for 200 likes, we got 135, so no phone case to be given away unless
let's call it 150 if you want.
Hey,
call it 150. Last push.
Call it 150. Yeah, let's do that. Get to 150 likes before this is out, and I'll pick someone out of the chat for a free phone case. So if you haven't already, smash a like on the video. And we'll give away a free phone case, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, lads, just before we do go out, tell us where we can find you, what's coming up. I know we've already touched on it previously, but just give us some push on LUFC Fan Zone. Who wants to take?
So over on Instagram at LUFC Fan Zone, all of our handles are the same. Twitter, Facebook, although we don't really check Facebook that often, we still do post on there, so do feel free to like us as well on there. Podcast every Saturday now. It was every other 2 weeks, but with Sam, me and Sam came to the decision that we're going to split it up into 2 sections, so we have an episode every week. So yeah, podcast over on Spotify, Apple, all the other good ones really. I don't know all of them off by heart, but all the major podcast providers. Yeah, LUFC Fan Zone podcast. And I don't know if people would have been around earlier, but we've got Giuseppe Beluschi potentially this week. We need to confirm it. The post will be out tomorrow.
With his translator. Because he can't speak English.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That'd be interesting.
But no, I'll let Sam speak. I've baffled him.
Just like Jack said, over on Spotify for the podcast and Instagram for LUFC Fan Zone.
Nice. So you've not, right? The people in the chat, right? You've not just let all Leeds TV down. You've not just let me down. You've let yourselves down. There's 147. We need 3 more likes for this free phone case. I'm dying to give it away. Well, the lads are, and we haven't got it. So
to be fair, I actually haven't liked the video on our YouTube, so I can do that.
There's one. There's
right,
one. 2 more. 2 more.
One
Come
more.
on, before we go out, we want to give away this free phone case. Let's see. I think we might have done it. Right, we've had 156. There you go.
Hey.
There you go. Things you have to do. Right, okay. I'm going to have a quick dash through these comments. Someone...
Why don't you just want to give away something like post a link in the chat, or is there no way to do that where like they post something and it enters them?
No. 160 now. We're probably going to get up to 200 now before it's out. I'm gonna scroll up here, close my eyes, right?
Lands on the All Leeds TV YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Just make sure he selects us, Joe.
Me! Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
There's so many regulars in this chat, and let's have a look. Where's my man? Right, we're going to give it to Jordan Dix, Martin Woodgate, Phillips Hernandez, Hasselbank for his 1 to 5. I look at that 1 to 5. It's a brilliant 1 to 5. So we're going to give it to Jordan Dix. So Jordan Dix, drop us a DM and I'll put you in touch with the lads over at LUFC Fan Zone, and then you can get that free phone case in time for Christmas. So thank you so much, boys, for doing that for us. That's class. Thank you very much. So yeah, make sure you check out LUFC Fan Zone. And I need to remind everyone before we do go, it's been a good show tonight. I've enjoyed myself. That you can get yourself a signed and framed Leeds United Calvin Phillips shirt at £4.95. I'm just going to have a look while I talk to you and just see how many tickets are actually still available. See if I've done an Oscar. I've not. There are, I'm just going to quickly do some maths. 15. No, that's wrong. 15 add 9 is 24, I think. I think there's 24 tickets still available for that Calvin Phillips shirt signed and framed. So get on over to Football Prizes to check that out. You can also get, if Leeds United isn't your thing, you can get a James Milner signed shirt, Erling Haaland signed and framed Dortmund shirt, or you can win £500 tax free, which isn't bad. That'd be nice for the coffers for Christmas, 100%. Right. As for All Leeds TV, We've been speaking with a Chelsea fan today. Hopefully, we will have a live opposition preview for you on Wednesday night. Just waiting to have that confirmed. They're a hard bunch to get hold of. I think it's the rivalry. There's that little bit of needle there that people are unsure whether or not they want to come on. But hopefully, we might have got one sorted for Wednesday. Oscar, am I right in saying you're going live tomorrow evening with a tactical preview of Chelsea?
Yeah, we'll do something tomorrow. We'll get something out there tomorrow, guys. We'll make sure you keep it locked. Keep it locked. I'm not sure exactly what time we're going to go out yet, but it'll be sometime around now. But yeah, make sure you check it out, guys.
Cool, tactical preview. I won't be there because I don't know about tactics. I'm one of them guys that just goes, kick it, kick it. Thursday, we'll have your live pre-match chat. Friday will be before the whistle blows. Saturday, match day experience, lineups, player ratings, post matches, and of course, you watch along as well. So it's going to be a long day because I think the game kicks off at 8. We'll probably be doing our player ratings at midnight. But if you're up, you're up. You can watch it with us. And then we'll try, depending on the result, get the same Chelsea fan on for an opposition post-match. Depends how much we get spanked or if we spank them. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But thank you, as always. Love that. We want far on that decision. Stringer B says, I thought we was boyos. Sorry, guys. Don't do me like that. You'll make me feel bad and I end up just buying you all one. Thank the good, live streams, guys. You're the best. Thank you so much.
I'll tell you what, we'll do another one.
Should we give another one? I'm going to let you pick this one, mate, so I don't get hate.
Tell you what, why don't we do a
question?
A question, and the first person to answer it wins. And I'm going to make it the most randomly obscure question ever. Come
on then, get it done.
It's basically the first one to go to Wikipedia. Basically, I don't expect anyone to know. So
let's have a look then. If you're still in the chat, Stringer with your cheese wedge, all cheese wedge, are we?
Oh man, okay. Put me in the private chat with ideas, by the way, because I'm trying to make it as stupid as possible.
Right, so I think we should link it to your podcast, right? And we should talk about your man whose name I crucified, Jerry
Mbakegu. He was a player that played for. Oh yeah, go on then. Go on.
Yeah, which club will we prospective to sign him from? I assume. Yeah.
Too bad that I didn't even know that. I forgot.
Yeah, I know.
Sam knows it.
Which former Serie B team did? I can't remember his first name.
Jerry
Mbakegu almost signed to Leeds United from. Yeah, it was a good episode. That he were talking how he spoke to Victor Orta about potentially coming over from Italy, and then as soon as Bielsa came, he said, we don't want you. If you can come, but if you do come, you'll come in the under-23s. And he said, I don't fancy that.
Someone's got it.
Now he's in Croatia.
Carpi.
Yeah, there we go.
Dylan Howarth.
Where?
Oh, no.
Dylan Howarth.
Oh, right, okay, cool. There you go. Right. Dylan Howarth. Got it right. So there you go. That's 2 given away.
There we go.
Give one to Jordan Dick and Dylan Howarth, yeah?
Yep. Let me know the details, and I will get that sorted for you as soon as possible. Or if they have Instagram themselves, they can also message us. Here's where somebody makes a fake account now called Dylan Howarth.
I was just going to say this. Get this, right? I'll tell you something now, right? We did a 5K giveaway. Do you remember, Oscar, when we did the 5K giveaway?
I remember this.
I think Jack, you gave us a phone case for it. We spoke to Terrace. We got loads of stuff, and we get to 5K, and you had to tell us the year that Leeds United were formed, and this guy won. It was like done on a phone on the live draw, and someone actually set up a fake Twitter account pretending to be this guy just to win these. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, "You're taking the come on!" And when we actually. Yeah, when we went and met this guy at Illinois, he was only a young lad and he was buzzing to get all this kit, and I was thinking someone was going to take that away from him, you know what I mean? There's some idiots out there, but it is what it is. But no one undoubted you'll be inundated with fake Dylan Howarth accounts now, so you'll have to I don't know how you're going to ascertain whether or not it's him. I don't know.
There's only one Dylan Howarth, though, isn't there?
Yeah, there's only one Dylan Howarth.
I'll just have to see some ID, please.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. I know it was supposed to be an Everton debrief, but we just had a chinwag, and that's what it's all about. Leeds fans coming together, helping one another out. Make sure you check out LUFC Fan Zone on their podcast. Great lads and a great listen. And Oscar will be with you tomorrow, and we will leave it there. Peace out.